Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Fringe North podcast. My name is Caitlin Townsend. My pronouns are she and her, and I am the project coordinator for this year's festival. I have with me here today Sally and Bob. Would you both like to introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your festival submission for this year?
Sure. My name is Sally Vahle. My pronouns are she and her, and Bob, my partner in acting and all things fun.
Yes,
We also
indeed.
teach together at University of North Texas, so we have lots of ways that we intersect as friends and colleagues. Are the actors in the submission, Dear Donald, Dear Hillary, their Secret Correspondence. And I'll let Bob introduce himself and then we can chat about it a bit.
Sure. And I am Bob Hess, and my pronouns I think are listed there. So I am everything Sally said. Good friend, fellow colleague for many, many years, and discovered this, and I'm very excited about what it is and for people seeing it in the festival. I'll let her talk about the content.
Yeah, sure. So the play that we have submitted was written by, Bob and I are both based in Dallas, Texas. And our playwright is also based in Dallas, Texas. Her name is Elaine Liner. And Bob had some familiarity with this piece from a few years back. And he and I were looking for a piece to collaborate on as part of a fellowship grant that I got through the university that we teach at, the University of North Texas. And he had remembered the show, and so sent a copy over to me, and I thought it was really interesting and great. So we decided to jump in and go for it. It's a two-hander. It does focus on Donald and Hillary, the infamous Donald and Hillary, but in a less conventional expect. Bob, do you want to share a little bit more?
I can share is sharing the conceit of the play appropriate, you think? Would you say?
Whatever you're willing to share.
Okay, so the conceit of the play is it is sort of a what if play, and it's satirical spoof. What if these two had known each other since they were in grade school and were paired up as pen pals? And this play, which is a spoof of A.R. Gurney's play Love Letters, which is kind of an iconic play here in America, and this sort of spoofs that as if they've been writing letters as pen pals since they were second graders, all the way up through the 2020 election, and it covers them aging over time. Hillary greatly aging and changing, and Donald basically kind of saying the same as a second grader to when he's in the White House, not really changing as a person very much. So it is a pretty biting satirical spoof that sort of plays that conceit of what if that had been the case and they'd been able to correspond? What would those letters have been? And the playwright derives this from a lot of actual public statements and conversations and exchanges that took place as they talked to each other and talked about each other.
Yeah. So,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say the path to producing the play was unique and interesting due to COVID. We had originally planned to do the piece as a live theater production, and we had originally planned to do it at festivals, not this coming summer, but the summer before. And of course, as we know, COVID hit things shut down in the US around March of 2020, right, Bob? 2020? I get so confused about my years now.
March
Everything seems a blur for the last 16 months.
Yeah, mid-March.
So we had to quickly regroup and kind of come up with a different plan as everything was put on hold, as everybody knows, with lots of businesses, but particularly performing arts. So we put our heads together and thought, let's turn it into something that is filmed, and and of course the production, had we been able to perform it that summer, was going to align exactly with the upcoming election in 2020. So there was an interesting relevance to it that we thought was particularly pertinent and welcome, right? So we kind of regrouped and met with Elaine, the playwright, and she did some rewrites and some to bring things up forward in time so that it tracks with more relevance to post 2020 election. And that was a really cool, interesting process. And she was very willing and really contributed and was generous about things that she needed to take out in order to keep the time, at the 60-minute mark. And wrote some great things to replace some of the things that were painful to let go of. So it's been an interesting process, one that we didn't expect, to be the way that it's been.
Yeah, it sounds really entertaining. And yeah, it's a really unique situation to be able to dive back into a piece and make those shifts to keep it relevant. So I'm curious, because you are down in Texas, I believe you said, and I'm wondering how you found out about Fringe North and what got you involved in our particular festival.
Sure. So I'm actually originally from Wisconsin and Minnesota, and have spent quite a bit of time in Canada. Done a lot of canoeing up far north, up in Manitoba, and Grand Marais, Minnesota is a family favorite spot to visit, which is near Thunder Bay. So I've spent time in Thunder Bay. And so we were researching festivals outside of the US and came across the Canadian Fringe Festival lineup and all of the many incredible Fringe festivals that you have across your country. It's so wonderful to see such engagement and interest in dynamic new work, unexpected work in all sizes of towns and cities across Canada. It's just cool. So that's how we were first introduced to Fringe North. And I was particularly curious and interested in what might be happening in Ontario, just because I'm a little more familiar with Ontario than some of the other provinces. Yeah. So yeah, I was excited to learn that, and I was researching festivals that were going to be offering a digital component as part of their summer season, and I was really excited that we had an opportunity to throw our hat in the ring for your festival.
Well, that's awesome. We're thrilled that you are part of our festival this year, and to bring in from all over the place. It's been really wonderful, the collection of individuals that we have this year, and we're looking forward to it. I'm curious, with this project, having started working on it before COVID and now having to shift, I'm wondering, with both of you as actors, when you're working together, if that relationship has shifted in any way in terms of how you approach the material now that things have kind of changed, and how that's been for you both.
Sure. Bob, would you be interested in speaking to that? Because you also played a really unique role in creating, you really served as a director, really, in many ways, of the digital life of the storytelling, because you have some experience and background with that. So I'm going to toss the baton to you for this one.
Yes, it was I think I wound up in that position because when COVID hit, I was actually in the middle of performing a show. As it hit, it had run its first weekend, and we had to transition the show to a video format for streaming on the fly. And so had to look at it, and the concept there was basically that this was a filming of a play. This was not making a movie. This was a filming of a play. And then I did that a couple months later again with the production of I Am My Own Wife. And that was a one-man show. And again, the concept and construct was this should look like a play that is filmed. And so I had both that experience, and that was very helpful going forward to make sure our piece, while it took advantage of the things that cinema can do, even though it's a play, which Broadway archival shows do. If you see a Broadway archival production at the Lincoln Center, it's the Broadway show that's just taped, but there are conventions and edits and things that one can do, which cinema will allow you to do, even getting closer to the actor than live performance will allow you to do, unless you're changing seats throughout, that it just allows you to do a lot of different stuff. So we had to incorporate both those things. And I think it helped that I had just come off of doing 2 of those projects and had the use of 2 designers in the department for both the set and also the lights and sound, and also an alumni from you who is an accomplished videographer who is working right now, and I had a great relationship with him. So it was definitely, we had to consider this project is going to look a little different as it transitions to the cinematic medium, but that the look was going to be not to make a movie, but to make this look like a play that has been captured. And I feel like we succeeded in that. I think it very much, it uses the cinematic techniques and it uses camera, but it definitely looks like a play that has been filmed, which was exciting. I did this play, as Sally said, first as a reading and was stunned, because usually we do readings all the time just for audiences, and they're usually not sold out. They're usually not fully attended. There are a spattering of people that are interested. This one was a full room from which people were turned away. And then I was stunned by how the piece resonated with the audience. The room, the humor, the tension, the satire within the room was palpable. I've never experienced reading in my life, which is why I was so excited when the opportunity came up to go to Sally and say, I think this thing has legs. I think this thing will really resonate with an audience, because I was just shocked. And I'm looking forward to seeing how people respond to it when it is in its cinematic concept. I have some family members and stuff, a couple who have seen it. I think Sally has as well. And I think it lands on that. I think it lands. I think it works very, very much. I'm very excited about audiences seeing it for sure.
Oh, that's really awesome. Yeah, I think there's definitely ways to use the advantage of cinema without losing the play feel.
Yes.
And it's as we go further into COVID, I think people are like learning, but it's really great that you had those opportunities very early on in the COVID world to be able to gain those skills and to see the unique advantages of it.
Yes, definitely. And then
Yeah.
the other two projects I did had excellent videographers as well. So I was really able to see what worked and what I thought could be even better coming out of those projects. Sally, you had something to add there?
I was just gonna concur. I was just gonna say it'll be interesting to see, if there will be an element of filmed theater that will stay. I think what's interesting about it is it will never replace the live experience in a million years. Seeing a play live is seeing a play live, and it's just the best way that one could experience it, I think, for all the reasons we love it, right? The collective experience of being together in a room and feeling the people next to you having their experiences of what they're seeing, and all of that exchange of energy in the space. But I do love that we've learned that creating filmed theater does expand the potential for individuals to see plays, and those who might not be able to come to the theater for various reasons. They have the opportunity, excuse me, to experience the show, albeit slightly differently than in person, but still you can extend the reach of projects to a broader audience base, which I think is never a bad thing.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to kind of open those doors and the gates become wider in that
Yeah.
sense. So what are you both hoping that audiences gain from attending your show at Fringe North? And what are you hoping their experience with it is?
I hope they have interesting conversations, before, during, and after, especially after seeing the show. I think what's interesting about the play is it creates questions, I think, conversation starters that go beyond just the people that are in the play, Donald and Hillary. It becomes about gender dynamics. It becomes lots of interesting things that come out of it, and you I think are left with an opportunity to have cool conversations, and reflect on maybe personal experiences with ways that people were treating each other and things that were said and all that sort of stuff that go beyond just the relevance that exists for the people who said those things and that smaller world that those individuals exist in. I think it branches out beyond that. How about you, Bob? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Sally that we learned even as we were doing it, we were like, the political satire, but there's a lot about gender and about power and a lot about the American political system, the American social system in general that's commented on through this inadvertently. It's there. You can't miss it. It's all very much there in terms of that whole structure. The comment, the fact that this was a woman, it makes a substantial difference in terms of the whole dynamic between the two candidates. I'm also intrigued of what a Canadian looking a bit of the outside, since we are sort of marinated in it in America, and you have a little bit of distance. Good on you, that detach from the nonsense. If it's funnier because it's at what they Schadenfreude, when it's not you that it's happening to. What is that called? When something is funny because it's not happening to you, like the banana peel and everything is funny because it's not happening to you.
Yes.
I wonder if it's funnier to a non-American audience because that's not going on here. We're not dealing with, we didn't deal with this. We didn't live this. I'm wondering, or if it's more of a head shake and I don't know. I'm interested to see that conversation and takeaway.
Yeah, or maybe even, this feels a little close to home, even though it wasn't happening here. You know, I'm curious to know if just little moments or little things might resonate more in a more familiar way. I'm sitting outside in the Texas heat, and my brain is starting to float away from me. No, so I think it'll be interesting to see, you know, maybe if there'll be moments of agreement or disagreement, or who knows, you know, it would be wonderful to be able to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah,
we lost your video there, Sally. Now you're back.
Oh, I'm back. Yep.
You're back.
That's really exciting. And yeah, I do think it'll be interesting to see. And especially like being in Sault Ste. Marie, we're kind of on the border. So we kind of live in a little bit in both worlds, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's
great.
Yeah, and the play is the author takes she has a definite bend, a definite satirical bend without question. And in my opinion, she's pretty much goes for the jugular. She's very direct. It was kind of hard to let some of that stuff come out of my mouth, to know that stuff was coming out of my mouth. And friends who knew me that saw it, they were like, whoa, she just goes there, doesn't she? She doesn't even hesitate. It's just all the things we anticipate go through the mind of a person that says these things. She just goes ahead and verbalizes them. This must be what you're thinking if you're saying things like this. And she just puts it out there with the satirical spoof. And I think it works. It certainly worked for the audience to whom I played. There were lots of laughs, and then seconds later, there were groans and lots of head shaking in the audience while we did it. So we had no audience while Sally and I did. So we had no benefit of audiences laughing, and so we didn't know. Weird. Is this funny? I know it landed when I did it live. Will it land as a cinematic piece?
Yeah, that's very interesting. And yeah, I kind of think that back and forth kind of happens naturally in the political scene, even in our day-to-day lives, right? Like one minute we're able to like enjoy it, and the next we're like freaking out about what's being said. And I think that it's really neat to see that translate in the audience interpretation as the play is happening.
Yeah, lots of moments of I'm laughing at this, but this isn't really funny at all because this actually happened. That kind of thing.
So what are you both most excited about in terms of being part of the festival this year, just as artists and your journey with being part of Fringe North?
Well, this is my first theater festival experience, and it's an arena that I'm very interested in. I'm very excited about. I don't know that outside of the streaming things, that the work I've ever done has been at this international level, has ever been outside of commercials and films. Never my theater work has never been seen in Canada. So I'm very excited about that. I think of this as theater work. I don't think of this as movies or television shows. I don't think of this as that. So very excited about that. I'm just very excited about this arena. And I'm hoping, I've already pitched other scripts for future days when Sally and I could be there live, because Sally and I are we were excited about getting on planes and going places and doing live theater with a very minimalistic, simple piece. I see that in our future. I don't know how Sally feels, but I see that as something we should be doing.
I feel the same. I'm just excited to have this opportunity and the experience of it. And I would love to be able to, the next time, you know, create something that because I'm just excited. I would be so excited to get to, you know, meet people and see the theater and the other artists and the people in the cities, the towns that are coming to see the work and have those conversations. That's the best part. I'm imagining, you know, so I'll miss out on that this time, but yeah, to the next one.
Yes,
yeah, for sure. And it's very unique in terms of this year being digital to make those connections, so that when you do come, you're not coming into something completely new either. You kind of already know the space a little bit, and there's rapport built up there, which I think is nice. And especially for a lot of artists who are new to the scene, and Bob, maybe you feel this a little bit too, in terms of having not been parts of festivals before. It's a nice first step without like fully jumping in to get a feel for it and then feel more comfortable when it is a live experience.
Yes, definitely. I feel like I know more, but there's plenty to learn if I do this as a live thing, which I intend to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to having you as part of this festival and hopefully in festivals to come. And thank you for your time today and for all of our viewers who are watching as well for taking the time to watch and come along with us to learn more about Sally and Bob's work. Thank you for your time. Miigwech, merci, and gracias. And we'll see you all again soon. Oh, and also attend the festival this year, which is August 19th to 22nd. So come out and support Bob and Sally's work. Have a great
Please.
day.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Caitlin. Bye.
Thank you for watching our podcast. Merci, miigwech, gracias. If you like what we're doing, you can support Fringe North and the artists involved in this year's festival financially so that we can continue this work. Visit www.fringenorth.ca to find out more.